Good morning, or is it afternoon? It is. Good afternoon, folks. How you doing? Another edition of Morning Glory podcast. Get some more coffee in me here. So today, um, again talking about experiences here. I last night I sort of relived my youth for the first time in years, and basically in Primal I've sort of introduced boxing back into the itinerary, and the members are loving it. And to be honest, it's given me such a buzz to start coaching the fighting game again. Something that I've laid off for the last 5 years. Dabbled in it a bit with people, Gail, etc., and a few friends here and there, but I haven't really coached it on a regular basis. And it's I was never a fighter, but it's always been martial arts has always been my bag. I've always loved doing martial arts. Always loved learning martial arts. And for 20 years, I was a martial art fighter. I was an MMA fighter and coach. So it's in my blood. And it was inevitable that as soon as I started coaching the boxing and started getting the bug back, that I would start dabbling in the MMA. And now I'm sort of bringing MMA back into primals, coaching for the members. Some of the members are looking to start MMA. I call it old man MMA because we're never going to spar, but it's like teaching the guys wanting to understand. They're in their 40s now, and they're starting to maybe want to. They've realized that they need some sort of skills. It's like one of them problems of you'd rather have something and not need it than need something and not have it. So anyway, I started sparring last night. Took a couple of boys who two of the lads have never fought before, never sparred, never been hit before. So it was just me sort of taking them around, letting them punch me, and taking them around, putting them into a place where they were experiencing adrenaline dumps, put under pressure, and then stopping the spar, showing them how tense they were, telling them how to overcome that, and applying these lessons. So it wasn't like we were beating the shit out of each other, but it did give me the bug. And then I'd previously done 10 3.5 minute rounds in the bag. And then after I'd done that 30-minute sparring with the two boys, someone came in for the 8 p.m. shirt class, and he was the only one that turned up. It was James. So he's done a bit of sparring with me back when I owned Friday Academy Ireland. And so we've done another 30 minutes of sparring. And it's a bit better. So it was like it's because he's a bit of experience. But what did it teach me? It taught me that A, I am super stiff. B, my ability to spar is so shit now. It's ridiculous. I'm not capable of pushing my body the way it was, and I don't give a shit because I fucking loved it. And this is something that sort of was an aha moment, because I'm always telling guys, you've got to accept that you're no longer 25. And here I am trying to deny to myself that I'm 44, that I'm still 25. And I've woke up this morning, and for the first time in my life, I fucking know I'm 44. I feel broken. My body's in agony, but my mind is in a different level. I didn't realize just how much I missed the sparring, and for me, it was different this time because when I was doing MMA and was coaching MMA, there was a purpose behind the sparring. You were fighting. A lot of the time, you didn't want to spar. You were tired. You've maybe done 2 or 3 training sessions that day. It's part of the routine. It's you must do it. The enjoyment when you're training, especially coming into the last few weeks of a fight camp, there's no enjoyment there anymore. It's a job, and it's like every job you get up to, you have great days, you have bad days. And then when I was coaching, I didn't want to spar because I was getting old and my hip was sore before I got replaced. And these young kids who were fit and strong, they were beating the shit out of me, and it wasn't enjoyable. But last night, I was a coach. Last night, I was able to spar. I was able to dictate the pace, which is handy. I was able to use all the wily shit you use of 20 years of learning how to of sparring. You sort of understand. You pick up some wee techniques that you can sort of carry yourself through rounds. And I knew the guys who were sparring with were in a lot worse place than I was, in the sense that they didn't enjoy it. They were out of their comfort zone far greater than I was. But imparting that knowledge and getting to move again, it ignited a flame inside of me, and it's now a fire. It was so good to get trained again. And I'm always telling guys, you got to accept you're in your 40s and you can't do these things anymore. But last night made me think, it's like maybe you should accept you can't do these things, but sometimes you just gotta do them. You've gotta play that game of rugby or that game of football, and you've got to accept that you're going to be sore the next day. And maybe that's the message I'm trying to get to understand. Is like, I trained today. I realized that the training I do has kept me at a level that allows me to do a bit more than the average 44-year-old. Like yesterday, sparring, I was so out of my comfort zone. I'm so unfit for what sparring is. I'm so rusty. My timing was all off. I was getting caught with shots that I shouldn't be able to. I should never have been caught with from beginners. I'm not able to move. My hips have just lost the ability to move the way I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't get my body to move. So like I was thinking about the shot, and by the time you think about a shot, it's over, it's done. And I was reaching for shots, and I knew I was reaching, and I couldn't get into the position. And then when I did get into the position, my hips sore, and I got caught with shots that I shouldn't have got caught with. But it was the whole mental aspect for me of just being back into doing something that absolutely drives me crazy with passion, that made me realize that I have to train. We should be training for our everyday life. But that consistent training and getting your body fit and losing the body fat and keeping the mobility going a bit, it allows you to dabble in the things you once done as a kid. Like if you want to play a rugby game, because a rugby game is going to make you just feel happy about yourself. Well, then if you're training regularly, maybe you should fucking just join in that rugby game. Maybe you should just give it a, but understand that when you play that rugby game, you're going to be so broken the next day. You're like, I'm fucking in agony today. I can barely move. I found muscles that I forgot existed. My obliques, my lats, my knuckles, my elbows, my shoulders, my quads, everything's hurting. But it's a good pain in the sense because I know I've worked out. But I have to accept it because I've worked through, because I pushed myself so much further than I'm used to, that the next few days, I'm going to be broken. I'm going to be sore. And this is the byproduct of the going doing this. It's every action has an equal and opposite reaction. My action yesterday was I've pushed my body further than it's been pushed in years. The reaction is it fucking hates me today. And I got up this morning and I'd done some light swimming. So I went to the leisure centre there. And I got into the pool for the first time in about 8 years. I used to play water polo all my life till I was about 22. I'd be swimming. We had to swim miles and miles today. But we had been swimming miles there, like a couple of miles a day, basically. But today I only done 10 100-meter swims. So 4 lengths, 10 times, stopping every time. It loosened me up, but I still found that sore. But again, that was something that brought me back to my childhood and things that I've done all my life. And it's made me realize that it's important. Like when you get in your 40s and you're sort of trapped in the monotony of life, sometimes just that escapism, I'm just reliving your youth. It can raise your vibration. Even though your body's broken, you're mentally on a high. And isn't that what training's about? Isn't training about making yourself feel better? Isn't training about, pushing your body beyond its limitations so you can enjoy doing the things you enjoy doing? And I think that's something it's been swallowed up by the Instagram life and the Facebook life. And we go into a gym and we just lift weights constantly and we do cardio constantly for this goal of, I don't know, of fitness. But there's another aspect of fitness, and the sparring last night reminded me of this. And I'm going to maybe push it more. I'm going to maybe push the sparring more for my life. I'm grappling again. Because although it's damaging my bodily, and I can't do it all the time, I have to accept the repercussions of what I'm going to do is going to create pain, going to create imbalances. But I feel fucking great today, even though physically I'm fucked. Mentally, I feel absolutely brilliant today because I just loved it. I was watching, I recorded James and I sparring it was recorded about 13 minutes. We'd done about 15 minutes beforehand. And I said, I want to record this. And it was funny watching it because I am shite. I couldn't believe, I looked so blocky and I was like, I was all jerky and there was nothing happening for me the way I wanted it. But I could see when I was watching it, I was reliving the actual thoughts I was having. I was watching the video back. I knew how I was thinking in those moments. It was free again. And maybe that's what we're missing as we get older. We're getting stuck in the rat race, and we're forgetting what it was we done as a youth. In our youth was what made us happy. And that's why we stayed in the sports we stayed for so long, because it wasn't a workout, it was an enjoyment. And maybe the gym, and here, listen, I own a gym, so I'm like, it's counterintuitive what I'm doing here, but I speak the truth or speak what I think in my mind. Like, maybe we should be using the gym, the training we do in the gym, to allow us to dabble in the things that we once did in our youth to keep us feeling young. Like getting up at 6 a.m., the struggle, facing the struggle every morning to go train at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., just to feel the DOMs and feel like you're depriving yourself. It becomes like a slog, it becomes a chore. And I know that. I know a lot of people feel like I do. I feel like that a lot of times that when my training's become, it's monotonous. You're going to do the same thing. And yeah, it builds fortitude, builds strength and all its character, that self-discipline. But life's for living. It's for enjoying. And being in the pool today, it brought me back to being 15, 16, just swimming up and down. And yeah, swimming's boring, but it was still good to stretch the arms, and I still got the swimming technique, and I was still able to go faster than I thought I was, swim further. And it brought me back to playing water polo and training with mates all the time, doing those monotonous lengths. And for some reason, I hated it as a kid, but in the pool, I was getting nostalgic feelings, and it was nice. And sparring it last night, and imparting knowledge that I've accrued over 22 years of the martial art coaching and fighting. It was good because I seen, like, two of the guys, like I said, had never fought before in their lives. And I've always said to people, I'm a big believer in having something not needed than needed not having it. And one of the boys, I caught him with a left hook or something, and didn't mean to catch me, sort of moved in there as I threw it, and it sort of rocked him a wee bit. But that was the first time he had been hit in 30 years, maybe longer. And I was like rabbits in the headlights, and he was shocked. And as I said to him, I was like, it's better to experience that type of thing in a controlled environment where it can be, where you can dissect it, you can stop, you can regroup yourself, and we can talk about things and maybe explain. And I'm in a place where I understand the psychology of fighting, and I can read body language very well because of taking fighting for so long. And you can see the body reaction. It can tell the story of what they're going through, and you're able to stop and go, right, okay, so you're feeling this because of that. When you feel that again, start, back off, shake your arms out, regroup yourself, breathe, learn to control your breathing. All these wee simple tips and tricks that you can teach in a controlled environment, that in a street fight, or if the event ever occurs, you have to actually fight for real. At least you've experienced it in a controlled environment. And I think that's a lot of things. I'm going off topic here, but I think that's one of the things that I noticed about teaching the average guy some sort of martial art, where we're actually sparring. It's easy hitting the bag. It's easy hitting the pad. Well, it's not easy, but when you've got someone shouting, barking at you, taking pads, and you're trying to remember combinations, trying to remember footwork, that can be stressful. But it's a hell of a lot more stressful when you're trying to remember all that when someone's trying to hit you. And it's even more stressful when you're trying to remember all that when there's a crowd there, and maybe the people, they've got friends, maybe they've got knives, or maybe they've got bottles, and you don't know. So it's like they say, the need and not have is not a good thing to have. It's having it and never needing to use it is a much better, and there's a going, is a much better concept in my mind. And I think a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s don't remember getting hit. I actually remember, I've forgotten what it was like to get punched until last night. There's only a couple of things, but I was like, oh, and you forget that. And it's that ability to cope under pressure is something that we've forgotten. And listen, 2021, who the fuck knows? It seems Amazon's got something about zombies coming in. Fucking, it's crazy. But we don't know when are we ever going to have, is the opportunity ever going to arise that we need to fight? And if you haven't ever fought, you haven't ever experienced what it's like to be punched, what it's like to throw a punch, what it's like to be clenched, what it's like to be held on the floor and not be able to move someone and get suffocated. If you've never experienced that, the first time you experience it is a life and death situation. That's a very fucking scary place to be. So that's what I'm a believer. So I've been bringing the guys in the gym and the girls in the gym through these sort of slowly but surely stepping up the pressure, and now we're into the sparring stages for the guys who want to do it. But it's something that maybe every guy should consider, every woman should consider. Would you know what to do in those situations? Are you capable of coping with the pressure of a real life scenario? And if you haven't experienced it, no, because like I haven't fought well, last time I fought, I must have been 30, maybe 15 years since I've last had a proper competitive fight. But even with the, like, what I noticed was if I'm going to fight an average guy, there's a 95% chance I'll win that fight. Not because I'm a great fighter, but because I've just the fear of getting hit isn't there. I know that if I get punched in the face, I'm going to react differently. I'm not going to turn my back and run away. Now, if a professional fighter fights me, I'm going to get my balls rolled. It's that simple. If someone 28 years old comes in, who's been training regularly, strong, youthful, fit, he's going to roll me. But at least I've got skills where I can defend myself to a point where I can maybe get out of there. And just every guy in this planet, the average guy who's a father, do you have that skill? Because I was telling other guys and a couple of guys in the gyms, like, there may come a point where you're the only thing in between you and your children, you and your wife, and do you have that ability to defend yourself? Have you got the skill set to be able to do something to protect your family? And if you haven't, why haven't you learned? Why are we still in the belief system that everything's going to be okay? Why do we not want to challenge ourselves to maybe to feel, to make the uncomfortable more comfortable? Because I know the guys last night, like they were uncomfortable, but at the end of it, they enjoyed it. And as I said to them, the fear of getting hit is much greater than actually being hit. Like once you take a few punches, like the fight, because one of the guys, he got caught twice. The first one he got caught, and it was like, and he stopped and he froze. And had it been a real fight, he'd have been emptied. The second time I caught him, and again I didn't mean to catch him. He moved into the shot as I threw it, but he reacted. Then he came back and he started fighting again. And you could see already the delusion effect of being hit once and getting over the fear of getting hit. When he got hit again, it held a lot less power than when he did than the first time. I know I'm off topic here, but I do this. I end up going because it's something I'm really passionate about. I love this type of game. But maybe like bring it back on the topic. Maybe we should just as you get older, maybe you should just think about a sport you want to do, a hobby, and use your training skills, use your weights, your cardio training you do in the gym as a way to enhance or allow you the ability to do the sport you want to do. Because then you've got the if you're just training for the sake of training because it's what we should do, we have to keep fit. I'm overweight, I'm an older guy, it becomes a chore. And that's what training was becoming, a real chore for me. And it's only now that I realize that no, the MMA game, the martial art game is what I love, and that my training should be tailored towards allowing me, even if it only happens once a week or once every 2 weeks. If I'm training within the back of my head, I know I'm training for purpose, and that purpose is so I can enjoy doing what I enjoy doing. Then the sport, the training I'm doing, the boring training I'm doing, no longer is boring. It's become something that it grants me the ability to do what I love doing. So yeah, maybe it was a lesson I learned last night. Maybe some guys should think of that, and some girls think of that. Find a hobby that you love doing, and then use your training in the gym to focus on allowing you to become better at that sport. Anyway, just a wee thought in my head. Hope you have a good day, folks, and I'll see you tomorrow.